It was a speech that was highly anticipated. Already postponed due to the Algerian hostage crisis, Prime Minister David Cameron set out his view on Britain's future in the EU. At its heart, a pledge to renegotiate the terms of Britain's EU membership and a promise to British voters.
When we have negotiated that new settlement, we will give the British people a referendum with a very simple in or out choice: to stay in the European Union on these new terms or to come out altogether. It will be an in-out referendum.
The Conservative leader's plan is dependent on him winning the next general election. Cameron is mindful that many people in the UK are uneasy with Britain's relationship with Brussels and that anti-EU parties have been gaining in the polls. However, talk of a referendum divides opinion.
I think it's such a complicated set of issues to make it a binary scenario of yes and no. It is very, very dangerous.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's very democratic. I think basically he needs to get an answer from the people rather than just decide at a higher level. But he needs to educate people first about the pros and cons of being in Europe.
Cameron's party contains a strong anti-Europe faction that he's been under pressure to appease. It's adamant that some powers currently held by Brussels should be repatriated to London, the EU budget should be cut, and that a federal Europe should never happen. Britain's European partners, however, are cool to Cameron's ideas. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says she's ready to listen to Britain, but there has to be a fair compromise among all EU nations. France, though, went a step further.
We can't have Europe à la carte. If you want to make a comparison our British friends will understand, imagine that it was a football club. You can join the club, but once you're in, you can't say you want to play rugby.
The United States and business leaders have also warned Britain against quitting the EU. Cameron says, though, the bloc must reform. But negotiating Britain's relationship with Brussels promises to be both complicated and time-consuming. Only then, and only in the event of a Conservative victory in 2015, would the British people finally get their say.